My name is Vera. I will be happy to be your moderator throughout this program. And let me remind you benefits of becoming Moscow MICE ambassador. First of all, discover a new MICE destination from A to Z. Secondly, gain benefits from being the first on Indian market to offer exclusive programs to your clients. Thirdly, establish business connection with Moscow partners. And last but not least, be in the first row for fabulous destination showcase in 2024. I will also take some time to give you brief information on the program. Our educational tracks are held online, and altogether we have 6 webinars. Duration of each webinar is from 1 hour to 1 hour and a half. Don't forget, please, to turn off your microphones to ensure comfort for all participants. All your questions during the webinar can be sent to chat, and we will answer them after the speaker's presentation. In case you could not join, we will send you the recording of the webinar. However, we kindly ask you to be present during all webinars because it's the only chance to ask questions to our speakers. Link to webinar will be exposed in our chat one day prior to the event. And please do not leave this chat since all the important information will be there. And also after each webinar, we will send you a link to a short test, which will consist of 5 questions. Please complete it to get the certificate of Moscow MICE ambassador. And this is all for the official part. We're ready to start, and I would like to give the floor to our first speaker, Natalia Molodchkova, advisor of the Department of International Cooperation of Moscow City Tourism Committee, with an extremely important theme of the presentation, Visa Essentials.
Hello, everyone. Very nice to welcome you at the very first meeting during the MICE Ambassadors program. Can I ask you to, Nina, please give me the right of an organizer? So we'll start in about 2 minutes. Yeah, here it is. So, dear all, hello once again. And today we'll discuss the visa essentials and how to get visa to Russia. And my mission here is to assure you that it's in fact is not a big deal. So it's really easy to get visa to Russia so far. So there are 2 general types of visa. The first one is a regular visa that is imprinted in your passport. And the second one is e-visa, electronic visa. So the second one was introduced just 2 weeks ago on August the 1st. So, but 2 these types of visa are applicable for any purpose of your trip to Russia. Let it be a tourist visit, a business trip, or private one. So if you want to go to Russia, you may take both a regular imprinted visa and e-visa. So we think that e-visa is one of the best options so far, and we'll talk in details about it right now. So e-visa, 55 countries are eligible for e-visa. And the good news is that India is on the list. So this visa is applicable for a single entry to Russia, and it costs just $52. And you may pay through UnionPay, MasterCard, or Visa, which are not only Russian ones, but also foreign cards. Processing time of this visa is just four work days, so it's quite fast. The visa is given just for 16 days, so your period of stay is supposed to be less than 16 days, but the validity period of visa is 60 days. You may start applying 4 days before the trip, but we recommend you to apply like in 15-20 days before your visit, just to make sure that nothing will change in your plans. The way to apply is to go to the official website of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Consular Department. Here there is a QR code through which you can go to the website to see the form. So if you go to the website, you see the first page where you need to create a personal account. It's quite easy. You just need to give your email, your passport. After that, in 1 or 2 minutes, you will get an email on your, you will get an email, and after that, you are authorized on this website. After that, you will see this kind of a page with your profile, with the opportunities for applying for a visa, where you can also see your applications history and also address technical support. So it's here it is. After that, if you want to apply for a new visa, you need to press button 3, apply for a new visa. So this one is the first page you will see there. So here, the first step is to attach your photo. The photo is supposed to be passport-like, so anfas and in a good resolution. So here are some points on and recommendations of a photo. It's not very difficult. It's just like a general procedure for any visa process. So next one. We go to personal details. Here you are supposed to choose your nationality and the passport you have, and also attach a picture of your passport, the first page of your passport. It's also quite easy. Then you are supposed to give your passport number and some details on your passport, like date of issue, date of expiry, and the issuing authority. Then we'll go to entering your name. So these can be a bit difficult for people who are going to apply for a visa. So I'll give you some details on this case. When we see a first line surname, we need to take the name in Latin alphabet, which is indicated in your passport. And also a given name, which is also in your passport. And the third one is supposed to be fulfilled in accordance with the special symbols in your passport, if any, because the passports, foreign passports are quite different. So sometimes there are some different spelling in Latin and in national names. So that is why there are 2 different options. And if you have if you doesn't have surname, so there is a special button, I don't have a surname, and you can also put this. There are some additional details like patronymic name, if any, and also date of birth, country of birth, etc. So it's also quite typical. And if you were born in Russia or in the USSR, you also need to indicate this. So this one is for putting personal identification number, but for majority of applicants, it's not relevant. So it's not necessary to identify this. And if you have some additional details like other citizenship, you are also supposed to fill this form. So then we move to the purpose of your trip to Russia. And here you can choose a business trip or tourism or attending some sport event or some cultural event, etc. And there you also can give some more details on your purpose, like if you are applying for a business visa, you can give some details like a special event organized by Moscow City Tourism Committee, and also give your intended day of entry to Russia. Here you can see the possible options of the visa. So in fact, this kind of visas are applicable for almost every type of visit to Russia. So next one is some details on how to organize your trip. Here you should put the organization you are going to visit, or a person who is inviting you. For example, here you may choose like government officials, and name of the company is like Moscow City Tourism Committee. Our address, our phone number, and email. Then you give some details on your hotel. So it's like the city where it's located, type of accommodation, name, address, telephone, and it's not a big deal. You can give all the get all the details on the voucher that you have from your hotel. Then it's necessary to give the information about previous visas to Russia, if any. If you have some printed visa, you should give the details on it. You can get it from your passport. And so if no, you just choose the variant that you have no visa to Russia. And also give some information on the list of the countries that you have visited before. As to the health insurance policy, you may choose that you have no insurance policy, but we strongly recommend you to have it before your visit to Russia, because first of all, it provides your safety, and according to the Russian legislation, every tourist coming in Russia is supposed to have an insurance policy. It's in fact an international rule, because almost every country requires the same. The health insurance policy is like necessary for getting visa to almost every country. It's not necessary for e-visa to Russia, but it's highly recommended to have. Here you once again give the list of the countries that you visited in 3 years. And then we move to the family status. Here you choose one and give some information about your parents, even if they passed away. Yeah, it's also a typical form for e-visa. For example, if we are going to fulfill an e-visa form to get a visa to India, there are the same scope of questions that are supposed to be fulfilled. So there is information about mother, and also a question about relatives in Russia. It's necessary to be fulfilled, but if you have no relatives, that is okay. You just choose that you have no relatives in Russia. Then we move to your residence and your employment. So you just give the information where you live, your email, your phone number, and some points about your connections to Russia. For example, if you have any estate in our country. Then we fulfill the information on work and study, and also give some details on address, telephone, and email of the organization where you work or study. Here are some new details about higher education. If you have, you also is recommended to give the name of the institution. There is a big part of the questionnaire where you are supposed to give the information like political related ones. Here you should choose if you represent a non-commercial international government organization or participating in some activities, and also give some information about military service. And if you have one, you need to indicate it. And some typical questions like you're not supposed to carry out illegal activities on the territory of our country and to participate in some political activity. Here we recommend you to say no on the last 3 questions. And if you have some additional information, you also may put it, but it's not necessary. Then we move to the detailed military service. If you have one, you choose where it was carried out, like India, and also give military branch and some additional details if you like, but it also is not necessary, sorry. And then the most interesting part, the payment. I want to assure you that it's possible to pay for e-visa with Visa and MasterCard that was by cards that was originated not in Russia, but in other foreign countries. So if you have an Indian MasterCard card, you may use it to pay for e-visa. The price is like $52 American. It's about that. But here we see the price in yuan because it is conducted in yuans. But in dollars, it's like 52 US dollars. So you can put your card information and then proceed to the payment. We heard about cases that sometimes it fails, but if you'll try one more time, probably there will be success. And if no, you may try once again with another card, and then it will go okay. Then another option, regular visa. Here I'll tell you about the difference between e-visa and regular visa. First, regular visa is a bit is more. It takes more time to get a regular visa because it's like 4 up to 20 days, while electronic visa is just 4-day max. And also electronic visa is much cheaper because you see that e-visa is like $52, while regular visa is 80 plus $30. So it's more expensive. And the second point is that there is a number of documents required for a regular visa. It's like application form, printed photos, confirmation from the hotel, etc. While for e-visa, you need just to fulfill the questionnaire and to have a passport and to download your photo, and that is it. So it's way easier, but sometimes regular visa are necessary. For example, e-visa is applicable only for citizens of India. And for example, if you are not a citizen, but a citizen of another country that is not on the list for e-visa, the only option is to get a regular visa. So here you can see more details through QR code on tourist visa. It is, you can apply for a regular visa addressing a Russian service center in Delhi, for example. The same procedure is for regular visa for business purposes. It's not very different from a tourist one, and it costs the same, and the processing time is also the same. The point is that if it's urgent, you may take visa just in 1 up to 3 days, and it's faster than e-visa, but it's applicable only for urgent cases. So we recommend you to plan your trip in advance and to get a visa before, like at least a week before your trip to Russia. The business visa process is quite difficult because there are some special documents required to get it. It's a directive from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, so-called telex number, or an invitation from some of Russian business organizations. While if you apply for a business visa through e-visa service, it's not necessary. You just indicate the organization and that's it. So here you also see some details on the business visa, regular one imprinted to your passport, how to apply it at consulate or consular division of the Embassy of the Russian Federation in India. Here is a QR code for Delhi and for Kolkata and Mumbai. But once again, we recommend you to explore the service of e-visa because it's way faster and easier. And of course, you might also apply for regular visa by post, but it's like an exceptional cases. And here you may get some more information on this process through this QR code. So this was a short introduction of visa process in Russia, and we'll be happy to answer your questions on this process, if any. So thank you so much for your attention.
Yes, thank you, Natalia, for this wonderful presentation. We picked up some questions from our chat, and we will be happy if you can share some more useful information for our participants. So the first one, if our participant does not have a surname, what does he do then?
There, I can get back to one slide with it. Here it is. So if you have no surname, there is a special button. I don't have a surname. You need to push this. And for the first line, you need to take your passport and to see the upper machine readable line. It's indicated in your passport, but not in the place where your name is, but there where is a machine machine part, which is at the down top of your first page. And you can take the lettering from there and if there is no surname, you just put like a slash here, and after your application is gone, you just need you also can address technical support and clarify the information that you have a surname, so it's not a mistake. And that is it. But also for your information, the service is quite new, and there are a lot of questions regarding the procedure of it. And now we are collecting all this information and are preparing an address to Russian Foreign Ministry. And after that, we hope that they will create a list of frequently asked questions and to put it on the website for e-visa. And all these points will also be there.
Okay, thank you. So the second question is, do we have to apply a regular visa or e-visa depending upon the purpose of travel?
Actually, you may choose any of it, but because the scope of purposes are the same. But we recommend to take e-visa because it's faster and cheaper. And easier because you don't need to collect your papers, to go to the consulate, to go to the visa center. You just need your laptop and I guess 15 minutes of your time.
The third question is the cost of visa for adult, child, and an infant is the same?
Yeah, the cost for every applicant is the same.
The fourth one, is insurance policy mandatory?
According to this questionnaire, it's not obligatory, but we highly recommend you to have it because of your safety, because it's a common practice to have it while you trip to a foreign state. And according to Russian legislation, it's also highly recommended for every tourist coming to Russia to have this. So we advise you to buy your health insurance policy before your trip and to indicate it in your visa form.
Another question, as if we will apply for tourism purpose or as a tourist, this additional information is not more mandatory, right?
Yeah, every additional information is not mandatory. Also, the points that are marked by a mandatory sign should be fulfilled. But if you like to give some additional information in your visa form, it's would be very appreciated, but it's not necessary.
There's also a question, what about multiple entry visa?
Unfortunately, so far, e-visa is just for a single entry, but you may apply for a multiple entry visa addressing to the consulate or visa center, but it will cost more. It will like $2,000. And actually, the period of a multiple visa is not that big, so we advise you to choose a single entry visa.
In the login we can create it for the company, or has to be on individual name as tour operators. Why we might have to do for our clients too. So it means that does the company need it to do for the tourist also, or they can do it for just as a company?
Actually, the form is supposed to be fulfilled by a person who is applying for a visa. But if the company is going to assist to a tourist, it's okay if they fulfill the form for him or her.
Another question for e-visa, do we have to upload any type of identification proof?
Excuse me, could you please repeat your question?
for e-visa, do we have to upload any type of identification proof?
Only your passport, the first page of your foreign passport. Here it is, I'll show you. After you download applicant photo, you go to this page where you choose your nationality, type of passport, and download your first page of passport.
Another question, do we need to submit funds proof?
No, it is not necessary. You just need to indicate your who funds your trip, but you don't need to download any proof.
Coming back to the application, in case there is an error in the name by mistake, can we correct it after the submission?
Actually, it will be very, very difficult to create it to change it after submission. That is why we highly recommend you to fulfill the form thoroughly and attentively. But anyway, there is a button of technical support and you may address there, but it's like a last resort. That is why we recommend you to double check your questionnaire before you pay for e-visa.
Also, another question, does the e-visa entitles to travel anywhere in Russia as a tourist or only Moscow?
No, every city. We'll be happy if you will visit every city, not only Moscow. And you may do this with e-visa because it gives you a right to go to Russia, to any of Russian cities.
I think that's all for the questions. If our dear colleagues, you still have some unanswered questions, please send them in a chat and we will ask them shortly. Just appeared a question. If there is error in name while applying for the e-visa, then do we have to cancel the granted e-visa and then have to apply for new e-visa?
The general procedure of it, yes, it's correct, according to the information, unofficial information from the Russian Foreign Ministry. But still, we are in contact with them and want to to provide a special service that is that will make possible to change the information in the granted visa. But so far, it's really complicated as far as we know. That is why we recommend you to create a new visa if there is a, a mistake in your visa that you have. Because in case of different information, for example, in your passport and in visa, there can be some troubles while entering the country. But anyway, the first step is to contact technical support. And after that, if you see that there is no way to resolve the situation, you need to get new visa with correct information. And once again, the best way is to double check your questionnaire if you have.
And the follow-up question, are there charges for canceling the e-visa or no?
No, there are no charges for canceling e-visa, only for applying for a visa.
Okay, we also have a question, is the e-visa extendable or not?
So far, it is not extendable. It's just for 60 days and for 16 days of permitted period of stay and a single entry. So once it's over, you need to have one more visa, but some of your personal details are saved in your account on this website, so it's not that difficult to apply for a new one.
We also have questions about multiple entry visa again and about group e-visa procedure.
Actually, for now, there is no option for a Group E visa procedure because this form is only for a single person. So if we have a group of tourists, each of them is supposed to fulfill his own form on this website, or a manager of a group can fulfill the form, several forms for each of them. And the second part of the question is about multiple visa. Once again, e-visa is only for a single entry. And if you like to get a multiple entry visa, you need to get a regular one through the consulate of Russia in India. But in practice, it's not that easy to get a multiple visa because to have it, you need to give some proofs of your intention to visit Russia on a multiple basis. And sometimes it can be not that easy. And it's more expensive to get a multiple visa. It's unofficial information, but still, if it's your first visa to Russia, it's not that easy to get a multiple entry visa.
Coming back, if one visa, e-visa, is rejected, can we apply for the second one? And the follow-up question is there any deadline that our participants should keep in mind to apply to second time for e-visa if the first one is rejected?
There are no any limitation on having a second apply to e-visa. So if one of them is rejected, you may take a second one. It's not a problem, but you need, first of all, you need to contact the technical support and to learn why the first one is rejected, because in a common practice, the rejection is like is not typical way, because in general, everyone who apply for e-visa just get it.
If our participants are going to attend exhibition or buyer sellers meet, will the invitation for this exhibition, for the event, required to apply for e-visa, or it is not mandatory?
No, it's not mandatory at all. You just made to indicate in your purpose of stay that you are going to attend. I'll show you. Here, you see the purpose of your trip. You are choosing participation in economic or cultural events, for example, and then go to the name of the company and you indicate here the exhibition you are going to attend. That is it. No any mandatory proof.
Here our participants ask, what is the suggestion for someone who wants to stay longer than 16 days in Russia?
Actually, it's a very good question, because based on an e-visa, it's not possible so far, but here there is an option to get a regular visa if you are going to stay for a longer period of time. It's better to go to the Russian consulate prior to your trip and to give all the necessary proof that, for example, you have an invitation, you have a reservation in the hotel in Russia. That is why you're going, for example, to stay in our country for 3 weeks or more. So in this case, I advise you not to risk to get an e-visa in order to avoid any misunderstanding after that if you are going to have a longer trip to Russia.
Thank you very much. I guess we answered all of your questions. We are very happy that you were here today with us for our first webinar. It has been a pleasure. We're going to see you on Friday at 2:30 at the same Zoom link, and we're going to talk about